everyone, welcome back to my channel, Sharon Cullen Art. Today's just a quick chat and update on, there's a spider. Keep one eye on him. I'm not a spider fan. Anyway, I just wanted to update you real quick on what's going on with me. I posted my video yesterday and so many of you said, oh, it's nice to see you smile again and blah, blah, blah. And actually, after I did that video, I had a couple of really bad days with my pain. But the one thing I wanted to update you all on is that I did go to the new pain clinic. Oh, and before that, let me show you my shirt. I got a couple new shirts, and this one, I have to get way back here so you can see it, says artist. Isn't that cute? It's all a bunch of paintbrushes. See if I can get close enough. See, they're all paintbrushes. Aren't they cute? I got another one too that I'll show you in my next video. It's really funny. It's got a, I'll tell you about it. It's got a coffee cup and a water bottle. We've all been there before. You know where I'm going with this. And it has, in the coffee cup is the paintbrush, and the water jar is just empty, you know, just water. And underneath it, it says, the struggle is real. I thought that was so great. So whenever I am drinking coffee now, like right now to the right of me, I have my iced tea, which is, I always put them in enclosed containers. But since I'm a lefty, I always put it on the right-hand side. So it's uncomfortable for me to reach across to put my paintbrush in. I keep my bottles on the left because I'm a lefty. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you about those things. And what I wanted to talk to you about was that I went to the new pain clinic. And those of you who don't know what's going on, you probably have to go back a few videos. I'm trying to think. I think it was an unboxing video or something that I was talking about my health issues. This is not whining. I get that a lot too still. New people come and they wonder what the hell I'm talking about. Think that I just whine about my aches and pains. But I have an autoimmune disease called ankylosing spondylitis, also called axial spondyloarthritis. A lot of people haven't heard of it, but it's more common than rheumatoid arthritis, MS, and cystic fibrosis together. There are more people with my disease than those three combined. Yet everybody knows about those three diseases. So basically, it's where your joints begin to fuse together. In men, it's usually just in the spine, The spine fuses together, and then they call that bamboo spine, where you know, it's just like bamboo. There's no joint in between anymore. Very excruciatingly painful. And in women, it starts a little differently. Quite often, you'll get a pain in one foot. I remember doing the first breast cancer 3-day walk in Michigan back when, I think, I forget who handled it. Maybe it was Susan G. Komen or no, it was before her. But anyway, the breast cancer walk was a 60-mile walk, and I trained for 6 months. And the days of the walk, and I was in good shape. I was probably 50 to 60 pounds lighter than I am right now. And my sister-in-law, who was doing it with me, was struggling with weight issues. She didn't have the pain that I was having, and I couldn't understand why my foot hurt so bad. I used to have to go and get it taped. Everything was taped together. My feet looked horrible, but I had to tape the arches and everything. A physical therapist actually would do that for me every morning before I started walking. But anyhow, I'm getting off track. I later found out that I had this disease. It took many years. It was about, well, from that point, it was about 10.5 years, but it was 9 years from the time I began searching when I started having back pain. My shoulder is fused together. So quite often with women, you'll have peripheral joints that fuse, or you'll have pain in those joints as well. Most of my pain, my serious pain, is in my right shoulder that's fused, and in my hips and in my low back. It is excruciating. I did have problems with my upper back and neck, and I still do a little bit, but I've had surgery on that, and I had 4 vertebrae fused together and bone grafting done and everything because my spinal cord was compressed. So hence I have a lot of chronic pain. I'm an RN, went on disability, and I've been on disability since 2011. So now I am at retirement age, and it doesn't really matter here nor there, but I was going to a pain clinic for 18 years, seeing the same PA every scheduled update. You don't see the doctor or the anesthesiologist unless you're having a procedure done, which I would do. I would have procedures done as well. But the PA handled my pain control, my pain medication, and for 18 years I had no problems. Then COVID hit. He was getting older and getting closer to retirement, so he went part-time. And then when COVID hit, they wanted somebody to take an unpaid 4-month furlough. And he volunteered to do it since he was planning on retiring soon anyway. So I thought, oh geez, when he goes on this furlough, he's probably never going to come back. And I'm going to end up with that crappy PA. Well, I ended up with the crappy PA. I'm just going to call him crappy PA because I don't want to use names here or the place that I visited. So I saw him 3 times, and in those 3 visits, he decided that I needed to have my pain medication lowered, and he gave me a lot of extraneous reasons why I needed to do that. And at first, I questioned him about it. I was like, well, you know, I have no problem trying anything. In fact, I've lowered my dose myself a couple of times to get myself down to the lowest effective dose possible on my medication. And I use fentanyl patches and Norco for breakthrough pain. I know, they're opioids, but not all of us are drug addicts. I have no desire to get up in the morning and say, where are my pain pills? I need a fix, or any of that. And I don't feel high because I've been on them for so long on the same dosage. Well, he decided that I needed to have it lowered. So I tried lowering it, and I told him, well, if I lower it and it doesn't work, can I go back up on my dose? And he says, oh, sure. We're not in the business of torturing people. And I said, okay, well, great. So I came home. I tried it for 6 weeks on my own. And in those 6 weeks, I struggled tremendously. You may remember my videos. I was struggling then. And that was probably in May. And so at the 6-week point, I went back up on my regular dose, knowing he said I could if you know, I couldn't handle it, which I couldn't. Well, when I came in, he got very upset with me, like I was overdosing my medication myself. Not overdosing, but exceeding my prescribed dosage, which wasn't the case at all. I was still given the same prescription, even though I had lowered the dose and I had excess. So then that month he got all pissed off at me and he said, you will lower your dose and blah, 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 blah. So he changed the way he lowered it, and it made it very complicated. One patch I was changing every 48 hours, the other one every 72 hours. It was very confusing. I had to put it all on a calendar. Then I had to take so many pain pills on a certain day and then not on other days. And so I wrote it all out for 2 months. Then I go back the 3rd time and my guy is back. So I see my guy and he says, first thing he walks in and he says, Sharon, what's going on? What? I don't understand. I was reading your chart. I don't get it. So I explained what crappy guy had done. And so he said, well, I had you all figured out. You didn't even need breakthrough pain medication except a few times a month. I said, I know. And I broke into tears. I said, I know. I just don't understand why he's doing this to me. And he said, well, I'm putting you back on your dosage. So he did, except the prescription was written wrong. It was written the way the previous guy had written it, crappy guy had written it. And it went to a new pharmacy. So my new pharmacy questioned it and called the pain clinic up wanting to speak with my guy, who was off that day because he's part-time. So crappy guy took the call. And he said, absolutely not. She's not going on that dose. Who does she think she is? Blah, 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 blah. And he lowered it even more, like he was trying to torture me. That's when I lost it here on YouTube. And that afternoon, he sent me a letter. Well, I had first sent a letter to the doctor, addressing the doctor and addressing Crappy Guy, saying how I had been lied to, that I thought it was unprofessional. They had a receptionist give me my medical regimen, that I wasn't talked to by Crappy Guy or anybody else, and that it was confusing to me and blah, blah, blah. And I said, and you're probably going to kick me out now because I'm voicing my opinion, but I need to do it. So I get a letter back. You have been discharged from the pain clinic for breach of contract. We have to sign contracts while we're on narcotics. And breach of contract for drug-seeking behavior. And I was like, what? What? I've never once gone into the ER to get extra pain medication. I've never once called the doctor's office saying, I've run out, I need more pain medication. In fact, my breakthrough pain medication, I had only filled like once every 4 months, a 1-month supply, like every 4 months. And if I was drug seeking, I would be filling it every month at least, because that's what I had access to legally, you know, in my program. So I thought, this is very strange. Well, then I was so hurt and humiliated. I felt like my character had been assassinated. He really ruined my reputation. So I go in to see my endocrinologist this week, and my endocrinologist says he's looking for my lab work, which was lost by some other place, and they sent blood work from last year results to him, and it was very confusing. So he goes on to my chart, which is through the Epic system, if any of you are familiar with my chart. He goes on to that, and he's looking, and he says, oh, what's this? And he clicks on it, because it was just a bunch of letters and numbers. He clicks on it, and it says, blah, 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 Center for Pain Medicine. And it was the letter. And I was like, oh, that's just from the pain clinic, you know. And he goes, oh, well, I don't need to see that. And he backs out of it. I thought, oh, thank God. Then he opens another one from the pain clinic and another one from the pain clinic. All these letters that I had received. The first letter telling me that I was a loser and a drug seeker. The second letter was from the, was mailed to me, the same letter. The third letter was from the office manager who had called me one morning, got me out of the shower, called me to tell me what a loser I was and that I needed to seek addiction therapy, is how they put it. And then I was sent a certified letter in the mail that I had to sign for with a list of doctors that I could go see. And I thought, you have got to be kidding me. I don't have an addiction problem. And I know many people would, this is where the problem comes in, where my character gets assassinated, because if I say that to anybody, they're going to say, yeah, typical addict, you know, she can't admit when she's got a problem, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't drink. I don't do any other drugs. I have always passed every single drug test that I've had in those 18 years, which was probably at least 36 drug tests. So before this happened, and I had seen my guy before everything fell apart that day, he said to me, we've got to get you out of here. He knew something was going down. He said, we got to get you out of here. I want you to see, I'll just say her name is Julie. We want you to see Julie in the other clinic. And here's her phone number. I left her a message to call me so I can tell her all about you. And I said, okay, thank you. And I called and made the appointment on my way home and got it for this week. And so he was the second person who told me to leave. The first person was after the last episode I had with Crappy Guy, and he had said, he had put me into tears, and I was having a procedure done, and I was in recovery, and the nurse in the recovery room had said to me, you got to get out of here and go upstairs to the other clinic. And I said, really? And she said, yes, yes. She closed the door and whispered it to me. And she goes, you didn't hear it from me. So I never repeated her name, you know. So this week I go and see this woman. And I was stressing over it all the way there. Tuesday morning, I was just like a mess. And so was Pat. He was upset too. Our stomach was in knots. And our stomachs were in knots. And so I get there, and, you know, I said to Pat, I'm like, well, what do I say? Do I just jump out and say, I was kicked out for drug-seeking behavior? She's going to kick me out, too. It's the same doctors that oversee this clinic. But she's the boss of everyone. She's a nurse practitioner. So I went in and she said, "Hi, Sharon, how are you?" And I said, "I'm okay." And she said, "How's your pain level?" And I said, "Well, right now it's not too bad, but it gets up there." And she said, "I want you to know I had a long talk with my guy." I almost said his name. My guy. And he told me everything that's going on. And I said, "He told you what went on with Crappy Guy?" And she said, "Yes, I read everything." And I said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "I feel like he ruined my reputation." And then I started to cry, just like I'm going to now. And she said, "Don't you waste a tear on him. He's not worth it," is what she said to me. She's his boss. And she said that to me. And I thought, oh, she understands. And so we talked about why he was doing it to me. I said, the only thing I can figure out was he kept mentioning the DEA guidelines and that you have to be below 100 milligram equivalents of morphine and blah, blah, blah. And so she said, she just rolled her eyes. She had a mask on, and so did I. She said, she rolled her eyes and she waved her hand and she said, "Ugh, forget that. Forget that. That's not, that's not for people with chronic pain issues." And I thought, well, it is actually, isn't it? But I said to her, apparently he thinks my dose was too high. I said, "I have no problem weaning down. I just need an alternative so that I can maintain my quality of life, because right now my quality of life is in the toilet. I have to time things. If I want to go out in the evening to visit a friend, I have to lay down at certain hours of the day and make sure I time my pain pill for the hour before I have to leave, and then struggle to get up and go. And once I'm there, then things start to kick in." She goes, "I don't want you living like that. I'm going to put you back on your regular dosage." And I thought, what? And she agreed totally with my guy. And so now Julie has got me back on my regular medication, which is why I look better. I'm feeling a little bit better, although I'm having trouble playing catch up right now, getting myself adjusted again, because I got way behind the 8 ball on the pain. But I'm getting there. And I'm always going to have chronic pain, and I'm going to have bad days. But that is the whole story. You've all heard it now. And you guys have also asked me about my finger. I have, I think, 2 more weeks. Excuse me. I have, I think, 2 more weeks on my finger to get to the 25th, I think, is when I get to the 6-week mark. And when I take my splint off to wash it, and I have to keep my hand on a table so my finger stays straight, I have, gone like this to go rinse it in the sink. I have to hold the tip up, and I've gradually let go of it, and it stayed up. And then I tried to bend it just a bit, and then I pull it back. And you can almost see here when you watch my fingernail. Well, you can't see it very well. See me moving it? I'm pulling it back up. And I couldn't do that before. That's a really good sign. But if it's not doing real well, then I have to go another 2 weeks to the 8-week mark, which is mid-September time. And then I'm done with this thing. And some people wear theirs at night in order to add extra support so the finger doesn't start to fall. It is a little bit deformed. It still bends a little bit like this, It's not perfectly straight. It kind of does this a little bit, but not too much. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. But what else was I going to tell you? I believe that's it. Oh, you guys wanted more house videos, so I will be doing some of those. I might do a couple at a time so that you can see a couple. And right now I'm working on another thank you card for another person. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, you guys. Remember, be courageous, paint with wild abandon, and most of all, be kind to each other. Take care. God bless you. Oh my God, 19 minutes, 20 seconds. Ah!